What's going on, everybody? It's GameUnboxingReviews here, and welcome back to another LEGO Star Wars The Force Awakens news update. Now, today's news update, I have a lot of very exciting stuff to talk about, such as the hub worlds, how many vehicles and characters we can expect, and lots more. But before we get started, I'd just like to give a huge shout out to my good friend Pat McCullough on Twitter, as he is the one that informed me of a lot of this information. So thank you, Pat. I really do appreciate it. So, without further ado, let's get to it. Alright, so first up, let's talk hub worlds. So in total, there will be 5 hub worlds in LEGO Star Wars The Force Awakens. One of those being Takodana Castle, which is basically the area where we first meet Maz Kanata in the movie. So it's really nice to know that we're actually going to be able to revisit that location in this game. Another area we can revisit is Starkiller Base. Now obviously this won't be as big as you're expecting it. They can only have so many rooms and whatnot in this game, but I'm sure it's going to be, quite varied. I'm sure there's a lot of variety in the rooms and stuff, and there's probably, iconic locations that we saw from the movie. It would be really cool if they kind of make that area act as the villain hub, if you know what I mean? Kind of like how in LEGO Batman 1 you had the Batcave for the heroes, and then Arkham Asylum for the villains. So maybe Starkiller Base could be a hub world specifically designed for the villains. I think that would be really interesting, but we'll have to see. Another area which I'm actually quite surprised to see is Dooku, which is basically the area that we see in the movie where the Resistance are held up and where we meet Princess Leia. So that's really nice to know that we're going to be able to go there as well. A lot of variety in the locations. I'm really looking forward to exploring all of them. Another is actually the Millennium Falcon, which is really surprising to me. I mean, obviously we knew we were going to be able to fly it, but to now know that we're actually going to be able to explore the interior, that's pretty cool. That is a very cool addition to the game, so I'm very interested to see how that's all going to work. And finally, we have, of course, Jakku. That's right, Jakku. We will, of course, be able to explore this completely freely, which is really great. It's also said to be rife with creatures and filled with lots of references that are taken directly from the novels, visual guides, and art books from The Force Awakens. So if you're a big fan of Star Wars The Force Awakens, then you're in safe hands, because this game is being worked on by fans, clearly, and they're doing as much research as humanly possible to get this game perfect. Now, obviously, we already know that all of the main characters and vehicles from The Force Awakens will, of course, be playable and drivable. However, outside of The Force Awakens content, we really don't know anything. But what we do now know is that there are more than 40 vehicles that we can drive in this game. This includes such things as spacecrafts and microfighters. But besides vehicles, we also have creatures. So there's going to be a variety of creatures that we're going to be able to ride on in LEGO Star Wars The Force Awakens. One of those being a Lugger Beast, which is so cool. I love the look of that thing, so I can't wait to see how it handles in-game. Now, besides vehicles, we also have, of course, characters. And we now know that there will be more than 200 playable characters in the main game alone. Now, one of those characters, while only having a small role in The Force Awakens, is Captain Ithano, aka the Crimson Corsair. Now, for those who don't remember this character, he is the character who Finn originally planned to leave with until Maz Kanata's castle was attacked by the First Order. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I think he looks awesome, so I'm really excited to see what they've done with him in game. And also, going back to the 200 playable characters, I am almost certain that not all of them will be from The Force Awakens. Most likely most of them, but I have a feeling they're going to be able to throw in something possibly from the original trilogy, maybe the prequels, hey, maybe even Star Wars Rebels. I mean, we'll just have to wait and see, but I'm sure there's going to be a good amount of Star Wars content in this game besides The Force Awakens. So now we're going to be talking about missions and bridge content, and as you already know, bridge content is easily my most anticipated feature in LEGO Star Wars The Force Awakens. So when we count both the main missions from The Force Awakens and the additional bridge content missions, this gives us a total of 18 playable missions in-game. Now that is really cool because it guarantees you a lot of content from the Star Wars universe, and one great thing to know about this is that everything in this game is canon, including the bridge content, so that's a really important thing to know. Now, when it comes to the bridge content missions, these pop up after completing every 2 or so story missions based on The Force Awakens. Similar to how the Iron Man 3, Fall of the Dark World, and Captain America the Winter Soldier content is unlocked in LEGO Marvel's Avengers. Now, once you've unlocked one of these missions, you'll be required to pay with a certain amount of gold bricks, which personally I think is really cool because you'll unlock a mission and be like, okay, I really want to play with that mission. and then what you'll do is you'll go out of your way to unlock as many gold bricks as possible, and then you'll play through the mission. It'll be great, and you'll have earned that mission. So I think that's a nice little addition to the game. Now, the bridge content missions are said to be similar to the likes of the Deadpool missions from LEGO Marvel Superheroes. However, if you remember those missions, they were really small bonus missions where you'd meet some familiar faces. Well, with LEGO Star Wars The Force Awakens, they're not doing that. They're giving us fully fledged missions. What this means is these missions could be on par with the length of the main story missions, or possibly even longer. I mean, we just don't know, but yes, these missions are a big deal. Now, I have 2 examples so far of some of the missions that we can expect to see with the bridge content. One of those missions that we do know of is that we will get to find out how C-3PO got his red arm replacement in The Force Awakens. Now, for those who are in the know when it comes to Star Wars right now, yes, you are correct. It is indeed a story that's being told in a separate comic book series right now. However, it's very likely that we will see aspects that aren't explored in the actual comic book in this game. So it'll be interesting to see how a whole mission goes with just C-3PO. I mean, obviously there's got to be a co-op partner, and I don't know who that co-op partner will be, but yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how a whole mission's going to work with just C-3PO. Now, the other example, which is the one I'm more excited about, is this. So if you remember from The Force Awakens, there was that scene where Rey and Finn meet up with Han Solo and Chewbacca aboard the Ivana. Now, Han and Chewie had of course acquired some dangerous cargo in the form of Ratar creatures, and this game will let players see how those creatures were captured. I think that sounds awesome. I think that's going to be a really fun mission with Han and Chewie. It'd be interesting to see because I don't really remember them explaining when they got those creatures. So it'll be interesting to see, was it right after Return of the Jedi when they were still young, or is it just before The Force Awakens when they were quite old? We will just have to wait and see. And last but most certainly not least, we have, of course, Return of the Jedi. That's right, besides The Force Awakens and bridge content, we're also going to be able to play through iconic moments from Return of the Jedi. Now, I imagine that these are moments from the end of the film. I don't think we're going to be able to play through the whole movie, but still, classic content from the classic movies is awesome, so I'm very happy about that. So as you can see here from this screenshot, we have the X-Wings and the Millennium Falcon flying over the Death Star. And what's great about this is the descriptions they've been giving recently about the space combat in this game sounds amazing. It sounds like a massive improvement since LEGO Star Wars 2, and LEGO Star Wars 3. So I'm very excited to see how much of an improvement they've given to this game compared to the previous entries in the franchise. Now, this screenshot right here is of course a higher quality version of the one that we were talking about in the previous video. And what I love is when you see these kind of screenshots, obviously this isn't confirmed just yet, but when you see someone as iconic as the Emperor, you just think to yourself, come on, they have to be playable. I mean, yes, you can look at someone in the background and you say to yourself, you know, okay, they're probably not going to be playable, they're just going to be in the background. But this is the Emperor. I mean, he has to be playable. He just has to. So if you're looking forward to riding around on a Lugger Beast in Jakku as the Emperor, you could probably do that, which just sounds like so much fun. And the last screenshot of this video is, of course, this one right here. It's Darth Vader taking on the Emperor. And obviously, these games are co-op. So the other character that we probably get to play as is most likely the young Luke Skywalker, which I'm super excited about seeing. You know, obviously, this is just one of the classic movies, but to get to play through a very iconic scene from these movies on next gen, that sounds like so much fun. So I'm very excited about this content. And, you know, like I said about the Emperor, we're seeing Darth Vader right here. So he's probably playable. And while we don't see Luke right now, I guarantee he's the co-op partner. Alright guys, so that's pretty much it for this video. I mean, as I've already said, you know, the bridge content is easily my most anticipated feature for this game. But to now know how many characters and vehicles we can expect, the hub worlds which sound amazing, and of course the Return of the Jedi content, I'm really excited about a lot of stuff now. You know, it was mainly the bridge content that got me so excited, as well as, you know, actually being able to play through The Force Awakens. But it seems like there's a lot more under the hood, if you know what I mean, for this game, rather than just this one movie. So I'm very excited, and I can't wait to see what the DLC plans are, because there's been some teasers. I don't want to guarantee anything because I could be totally wrong, but there's been some teasers as to what we might see. So, you know, we'll have to wait and see. Alright guys, so I want to thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned for lots more videos real soon, and as always, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe.